In 2026, being a billionaire isn't just about having money. It's about having leverage, the kind that can bend markets, rewrite industries, and make the world refresh a ranking page like it's a live sports score. And right now, the top 3 richest people in the world conversation keeps circling the same 3 names: Elon Musk, Larry Page, and Sergey Brin, 3 tech titans whose fortunes don't rise like normal salaries. They surge like stock charts. According to a Forbes real-time snapshot summarized by Databox, Feb 26, 2026, Musk sits at number 1, followed by Page at number 2 and Brin at number 3. But here's what makes this episode different from every boring net worth list online. This isn't a ranking. It's a story of 3 power styles. Musk is chaos, plus spectacle, plus moonshot valuation, wealth that moves with headlines. Page is quiet control, wealth that grows while he barely speaks. Brin is the shadow co-architect, wealth built from influence you almost never see. And the twist? Their richest status isn't fixed. In real-time billionaire tracking, numbers can swing with markets, meaning the throne is always one bad week, one AI rally, or one deal away from shaking. So let's open the first case file, the loudest billionaire on Earth, Elon Musk, and why his fortune doesn't just grow, it detonates. Elon Musk isn't just the number 1 name on the rich list. He's the reason the list feels alive. Because with Musk, wealth doesn't grow the normal way. It spikes, it drops, it rebounds. It behaves like a stock chart having emotions. And that volatility is exactly why he stays addictive to watch. One headline can add billions, one bad week can erase them, and the internet treats it like a live match. Right now, Forbes' real-time billionaires list places Elon Musk at number 1, with Larry Page at number 2, and Sergey Brin at number 3. But here's the part people misunderstand. Musk isn't rich because he has a huge salary. He's rich because he sits on top of a stack of assets that the market constantly reprices, sometimes rationally, sometimes emotionally. And Musk is the king of emotional markets. The Musk wealth formula. 1 man, multiple universes. Most billionaires are tied to one company story. Musk is tied to several, and each one has its own fan base, its own hype cycle, and its own valuation drama. Bloomberg's billionaire profile frames his biggest asset as SpaceX, XAI, and describes him as CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, with XAI connected to his broader business network. That sentence alone explains why his net worth feels unreal. It's not one rocket, it's a whole launch pad. Tesla gives him the public market roller coaster, daily mood swings, quarterly panic, meme-fueled surges. SpaceX gives him the private company mythos, the idea that the future is being built behind closed doors, where valuations can jump like a rumor catching fire. AI gives him the current era's strongest drug. The word AI attached to your empire makes investors behave like the future is already guaranteed. So when the market is bullish, Musk doesn't gain a little, he gains violently. Bloomberg shows his fortune being updated daily with big moves and a large year-to-date change, which is basically the scoreboard of this entire drama. Why Musk stays? Number 1, he sells the future, not the present. Here's the secret. Musk's wealth isn't priced on what exists today. It's priced on what people believe he can pull off tomorrow. That's why his money is always controversial. Because belief is fragile. Some people see him as a genius building the future. Others see him as chaos with a microphone. And every time the public fights about him, it keeps his name circulating, which is a form of power that most billionaires don't have. In a weird way, Musk is a billionaire who benefits from being a storyline. That storyline has 2 engines. 1, narrative control, he posts, the world reacts. 2, asset leverage. His companies sit at the intersection of tech, space, AI, and culture, so whenever any of those sectors heat up, he gets pulled upward too. And that's why he's terrifying in rankings. He doesn't need to work harder to get richer. He needs the market to keep dreaming, and he's one of the best dream sellers alive. But here's the cliffhanger that changes the mood of the whole video. If Musk is the loudest billionaire, rich in public, rich in chaos, rich in spectacle, then Larry Page is the opposite. Page's fortune grows in near silence, and that silence is part of the weapon. If Elon Musk is a live concert, loud, unpredictable, constantly trending, then Larry Page is a locked vault. No noise, no drama, just power accumulating behind a calm door. And that's exactly why he's so dangerous in the billionaire rankings. Because Larry Page doesn't need attention to get richer. He needs Google to keep existing, and the modern world is basically built on Google's infrastructure. On Forbes' real-time billionaire tracking, Page sits near the very top in 2026, right behind Musk in many snapshots. But unlike Musk, Page's wealth doesn't swing because of tweets. It moves because of something colder, the market value of Alphabet, the parent company of Google. Here's the key drama twist. Page's money is quiet, but it's not passive. It's ownership wealth, the kind that grows without needing you to perform in public. And Page is one of the clearest examples of this in tech history. He co-founded the product that became the front door to the internet. Search wasn't just a service, it was a habit. And once you become a habit, you become a monopoly like gravity well. Advertising, data, cloud, AI, everything gets pulled into you. But the reason Page stays so high in 2026 isn't just Google is big. It's that Google is woven into the daily bloodstream of the planet. Searches, maps, email, YouTube, Android, systems people use without even thinking. When a company becomes invisible like that, it becomes extremely hard to replace. And when it's hard to replace, the money becomes stable. Larry Page also represents a different billionaire archetype, the engineer billionaire who doesn't beg for applause. He steps back, lets the machine run, and watches the asset compound. That makes him the opposite of the celebrity CEO model. It's why you rarely see him, because he doesn't need you to see him. And here's a cruel truth about modern wealth. Sometimes the richest people are the ones with the lowest public stress, because they're not fighting the attention economy. Their fortune is secured by structural dominance. So if Musk is wealth powered by hype plus volatility, Page is wealth powered by infrastructure plus habit. It's not exciting, but it's almost unstoppable. Now the story gets even sharper because Page doesn't stand alone. Right next to him, in the same money ecosystem, is the co-architect who shares the empire but lives even deeper in the shadows, Sergey Brin. And Brin's wealth story has one extra layer that makes it feel like a plot twist. When founders return to the AI race, the world starts watching the quiet kings again. If Larry Page is the quiet vault, Sergey Brin is the shadow key. Same empire, same origin story. Same Google changed the world impact, but Brin's public presence has always felt even more invisible, which makes his power feel almost unsettling. Because when someone is that rich and that quiet, people start asking the dramatic question, what is he doing when we're not looking? In 2026, snapshots of Forbes' real-time billionaire tracking, Brin sits right at the top tier, often alongside Page as one of the richest people alive. And the reason is simple. Like Page, Brin's wealth is tied to Alphabet, ownership of one of the most deeply embedded companies on the planet. But Brin's story value in 2026 isn't just that he's rich. It's that he represents a rare billionaire archetype, the co-founder who can disappear and still matter. Because founders don't just hold shares, they hold influence. They hold institutional memory. They hold the authority of, I built this. And when the tech world enters a new era, especially an AI era, people start looking back at founders like they're ancient kings returning to the battlefield. That's why Brin always feels like a plot twist in billionaire rankings. He's not front page every day, but he's attached to a company that is constantly forced to reinvent itself in public. Search evolving, advertising evolving, AI competition heating up, regulation pressure rising. Every time Alphabet fights a new war, the public is reminded. The fortune behind it is still sitting in the hands of its creators. And here's what makes Brin's wealth feel almost unbeatable. It's not dependent on one product. Alphabet is a stack of moats: search, YouTube, Android, cloud, ads. So even when one area is criticized, the ecosystem keeps printing. That ecosystem is what makes Brin rich, even when he's silent. So if Musk is the billionaire of spectacle, and Page is the billionaire of infrastructure, Brin is the billionaire of hidden leverage, the one who doesn't need to trend to win. Now we arrive at the payoff. These three names aren't just the top three. They're three different philosophies of power: chaos, control, and shadow influence. Here's the reason this top three feels so addictive in 2026. It isn't a ranking, it's a clash of archetypes. Three different ways to dominate the world, and three different ways to stay rich. Elon Musk. Spectacle power. Musk's fortune behaves like a public performance. It rises and falls with market mood, innovation hype, and headline gravity. His wealth is tied to high volatility, high belief assets, Tesla, SpaceX, and the AI narrative ecosystem. Bloomberg's billionaire profile even frames SpaceX XAI as a major pillar of his fortune. This is wealth that can grow explosively, because it's powered by attention, and attention can scale infinitely. Larry Page. Infrastructure power. Page's wealth is the opposite of chaotic. It's structural. Alphabet is woven into daily human behavior: searching, watching, navigating, emailing, so his money grows with the world's dependency. Page doesn't need to trend. He just needs the machine to keep running, and it does. This is wealth that feels quiet, but it's built on habit, and habit is almost impossible to break. Sergey Brin. Shadow leverage. Brin sits in the same empire as Page, but his power feels even more invisible. That invisibility creates a strange advantage. He's rarely the target of daily outrage, but he still benefits from the same compounding engine. He represents the founder advantage, ownership, plus the authority of origin. This is wealth that doesn't need a spotlight, because it's protected by ecosystem dominance. So who's most powerful? If you mean who can bend public attention, it's Musk. If you mean who owns the world's digital plumbing, it's Page. If you mean who holds influence without exposure, it's Brin. And the twist is brutal. In modern capitalism, the quietest wealth is often the hardest to fight, while the loudest wealth is the easiest to hate. Now let's close it, because the final question isn't who's richest. It's what these three men reveal about how power works in 2026. So in 2026, this top three isn't just a list, it's a warning label. Musk proves that attention can become capital, so powerful it can swing billions like a mood. Page proves that the safest wealth isn't loud, it's built into the systems people can't stop using. Brin proves that the deepest power is the kind you barely see, ownership that compounds while you stay off stage. And the scary part? All three are rich in a way that doesn't feel human scale. Their fortunes don't rise with effort. They rise with structure, markets, platforms, ecosystems, belief. So now I want your verdict. If you had to choose, which is the most dangerous kind of billionaire power? Musk's spectacle, Page's infrastructure, or Brin's shadow leverage? Comment your pick and your reason. And if you want the next episode, should we do top 3 richest people who fell from the ranking overnight? Or the billionaires quietly rising in AI right now?